How's it going, everybody? Doing a gum chewing original Xbox collection video here today. Of the 36 games on this one. A lot of these games have come from garage sales. And eBay, retro game stores. I don't know. I'll have to do it when I go through them. I don't know if any of them are ones I had originally, back when I originally had the Xbox back in the day. But it is a collection I want to grow more because that was my favorite system during that era. I love the Cube, I love the PS2. Dreamcast as well, it's a solid system, but I'd probably spend the most time with the Xbox back then. I always had the Xbox, and then I would be swapping out PS2s and GameCubes. Those were like the secondary one. The Xbox was like the main one. From March of 02 to like April of 05. Anyway. First one here. 007 Agent Under Fire. I gotta remember to do some tapping. This was the first Bond game released during that generation. There was this one, Nightfire, Everything or Nothing. From Russia with Love, GoldenEye, Rogue Agent. This is a good one. I think I prefer Nightfire a little bit, but it's a solid Bond game. Usual Bond stuff. It's a shooter. You got some car missions. You know, different guns, different locations. I had to do gameplay of this, I believe. 007, Everything or Nothing. Got this one for $4. This would have came from the video game trading post. This is a cool one. This one's in third person, actually. But you actually have Pierce Brosnan as the likeness and the voice, as well as Richard Keel. He's got to be playing Jaws, right? Judi Dench is him. John Cleese is in here. Yo, Willem Dafoe. I think he's the bad guy. It's a really cool game. It's a really cool third-person action game. They did well, EA, with this one, putting it into 3D. And it was cool having them. To be able to get Pierce Brosnan in there is always nice. But it's the same thing, different locations, weapons. You get in car missions and shit. X-Men Legends. This I want to say I got at a game store as well. I don't know where Agent Under Fire came from. If I got that from eBay or one of the retro game stores. This is like a Diablo, all those types of games, Baldur's Gate. The top down. Look, you're running through kind of dungeon areas. But it's in the X-Men universe, so you're using the X-Men characters. Upgrade them and all that stuff. And you're fighting Magneto and the Brotherhood of Mutants. Turok Evolution, I still have not played this one yet. I picked it up because it wasn't that expensive, and I did like that first Turok game a ton on the N64. I've heard people say this one is actually good, though. Made by good old Acclaim. Acclaim is not around anymore. Yep. I always remember Acclaim because they were based on Long Island here. Glen Cove, it says it on the back. One Acclaim Plaza. I doubt it's still called Acclaim Plaza, but you know. Carmen Sandiego, Secret of the Stolen Drums. I've not played this one yet. I got it because it's a Carmen Sandiego game. Even though it's not like the traditional Carmen Sandiego's where it's just, you're trying to find her wherever she is, like the old, stuff back in the day. Where in the U.S., where in time, where in Europe, where in the world, all that shit. This one's like actually a third-person action game. It's not like you going to different places and around the globe, punching it in, trying to figure out clues and stuff. I've honestly not even played this yet. I got it off eBay. I think it's like $4 or $5. Nice copy too. Under the Reckoning. I talked about this one. This is also a top-down game, similar to X-Men Legends and all that shit. I had this originally back in the day when the Xbox came out, and I was playing a good amount of it, and then all of a sudden the freaking Xbox was like, and made this grinding noise, and I'm like, what the hell? It stopped. I was like, oh shit. Took the game out, could never get it to work again. The system was fine, but I don't know, the disc was flawless, so there had to have been, I don't know, something wrong with that copy. It's a cool game though, it's like a horror-ish game, it's you're fighting all types of shit. Different legends, you got zombies and vampires you're battling on top of other weird creatures. When I played, I really liked it, that's why I finally got it again, like whenever that was last year. Pirates of the Caribbean. I've not played this one yet. I picked it up once again because it's cheap. This is by Bethesda. And this is just, it's Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's not based on the movies or the ride or anything. It's an RPG. It looks cool. It's one I actually would like to get into at some point because an open world game. You can explore entire islands, including jungles, caves, and towns. Thrilling sword and pistol duels. I don't know where this came from, but there's a little note in there saying, thanks, be safe, be strong. Thank you, person. Brothers in Arms, Road to Hill 30. The Brothers in Arms games are cool. Strategy first-person shooters. They're different than like a Call of Duty and shit. Even got the map in there as well. A little small map. You're giving your squad commands and stuff like that. It's actually really cool and tactical. Like, it's more legitimately like a more realistic. Not to say it is overly realistic, but it's a more realistic interpretation of like a actual war. It's not a Call of Duty. You're just laying into fucking whoever, running around. And this one, you got to be smart. Get behind that cover. You tell them what people to do and shit. You'll die quickly. I'm surprised they stopped making it. Although somebody was saying, I think there's more of them on the PC. I think I talked about this. Hell's Highway. I think there's this one. Earned in Blood. Hell's Highway. Apparently there's more, though, on the PC. I know somebody commented saying that. Myst 3 Exile. Part of the Myst series, clearly there is Brad Dourif is in this one. The voice of Chuck Abe is in Deadwood. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was Wormtongue, I believe, too. Wait, is that his name? Grima Wormtongue? Am I getting that wrong? That's supposed his name in Lord of the Rings, right? It's a point and click game. Kind of classic stuff if you're into these kind of things. This does not have the strategy guide included. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. Wait, it doesn't. I want to get the fourth one as well. It was on the PS2 and the Xbox Revelation, I think it's called. The Hobbit. This actually has its card in it, I think. No, it doesn't. Oh, I got this one. I got Turok Evolution. This was April 2nd, 2022. Oh, so I got these at the South Shore Mall. This one was $6.69. Turok was $10. I've played more on the Game Boy Advance. I don't even think I've played this one, but I got it because I wanted it. It looked like a kind of fun action-adventure game, obviously based on the Hobbit book. Maybe one day I'll play it. I keep forgetting I still have this. Blood Omen 2. This is in the Legacy of Kain series. You have Blood Omen 2, Blood Omen 2, Soul Reaver 2, and Defiance. You're Kain in this one. You're back. You're fighting the Seraphim Lords, I think, but I think they're being actually controlled by some kind of like alien race or something. I forget, but he awakens. You awaken again, and you're weak. You awaken like much later in the future, and you're all fucked up. Vampires have been getting their asses kicked. Some of them even turned and were like traitors. But you're back. You gotta get your powers back and stuff. You go out and take people out and shit. Powers are cool. You know, you can like suck the blood actually just straight. I think you can bite their necks, but you can also just suck it right out of them. Like use your hand, it comes right out of them. You can like turn into mist. You can mind control people. Shit, you got other powers you can do. These are cool games that are extremely well voice acted as well. This was an early title back then, 2002. Well, it would have been early for the Xbox. This actually came out on the GameCube. The PS2 would have already been out for 2 years, but yeah, the GameCube got that one, but they did not get Defiance. Soul Reaver 2 was on the exclusive to the PlayStation 2. The first Blood Omen was on the PlayStation, and this first Soul Reaver was on the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 1. Blood Wake. This is a launch title, I believe. Only for the... I love that. I always loved this only on Xbox. I love when they had that. Nintendo had theirs in the corner. Sony, of course, didn't even have a thing for on theirs. It was just like you knew it was exclusive to Sony. They didn't need to tell you it was an exclusive. But I do like that. I always like that. Cool boat combat game. There's multiplayer in here. It's fun. You're just going around different boats, ripping it up. You're destroying forts, other boats, and shit like that. Supply boats and all types of crap. It's kind of just good fun. There was this, and it was Reckless, the Yakuza missions, which at the time was exclusive, and then it came out, I think, on the PS2 and the GameCube later on. This is not expensive either. Sound of For the Room. I originally actually got this on the Xbox back in the day. I pre-ordered it. I've talked about that pre-order story. How GameStop said, like, you didn't pre-order it. I'm like, I have the receipt right here proving I did. And I was getting, like, legitimately pissed, and I don't get into, like, arguments like that in public often. It's like one of my worst nightmares to have to do it. I'm so self-aware. Even when if I'm right, I'm still self-aware I'm doing it. I feel like I shouldn't. Eventually, they're like, okay. I was like, yeah, it's mine. And I got started. I had my umbrella, but it was going to rain. And I got soaked on the way home. The game was protected. I was just pissed. But the game's awesome. Story-wise, for me personally, it's probably the second story-wise to two. You're Henry Townsend in this one. And this one, I think or the rumors were, at the time that this was being made as a different horror game, but then they decided to just call it Silent Hill. Because you're not in Silent Hill. You are trapped in your room. There's bars, all the locks, all the doors, you can't get out. And then there's a hole in the bathroom wall you go into. You go to different areas. You go back to Silent Hill. I'm pretty sure through these things like the forest. There's a forest. There's a prison. The subway is the first place you're in. And you're fighting typical Silent Hill enemies. It's disturbing stuff, great, dreadful atmosphere. There's nothing bright and cheery about Silent Hill games at all. But this one's an awesome one. Who's the woman you're with? There's a woman you hang out with. You have to if she gets beaten up a decent amount throughout the game, you will change how the ending goes. What's her name? Elena or something like that? I can't. It doesn't say it on here. And there's weird enemies and shit like that. Some of this is classic enemies return, but there's different ones specifically for this, and it's got a great soundtrack as always. This one is about Walter Sullivan, the serial killer, is mentioned in 2. But he's a kid, and he thinks the room is his mother that you're in. It's actually a really good story. A bit disturbing, but. Simpsons Road Rage, I did gameplay on this. It's a crazy taxi clone. That is really fun. If you're into The Simpsons, you're going to like it. Like I said in the gameplay, all the voices from the show are in it. But the lines, it's not that much of them, but the lines get repeated over and over. You will get so sick of the lines you hear within 5 minutes of playing. That can be kind of annoying, but it does have legitimately funny parts, but you'll start to get annoyed later on. This cat is going to be annoying again. Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. Cool turn-based RPG in the Lord of the Rings universe. This game takes liberties, people get pissed with it. And I watched the first few episodes of that, whatever the Lord of the Rings show was called, on Amazon. It was okay. I know they changed shit up big time, but I just was not in the mood to watch any more of it. But this game, you fight the Balrog alongside Gandalf with random characters. Actual characters appear, but the characters you use are just random people. So this game also puts you in the fight. I have to help Gandalf fight the Balrog. These people were nowhere to be found, but here they are. But it is a really cool RPG. You're doing all the typical RPG shit. It's co-op as well, apparently. I didn't realize there was a mini game here. Wreak havoc as a Balrog, a minion of Sauron or other enemies. Dead to Rights. I've talked about Dead to Rights a ton over the years on this channel. This is just an awesome third-person shooter. It has the bullet time from Max Payne. Rips that off, but you have your dog Shadow with you as well. Shadow can disarm enemies, bring the guns at you. You do disarm moves yourself. You're going in slow-mo. Once you get hang of controls, you're just going nuts. And there's no shortage of enemies in this game. They're constant. You're Jack Slate. You get framed for your father's murder, I think. Cool boss fights in this as well. I've talked about them before. There's a lot going on. There's a part where you're in prison for a bit. And you gotta get cigarettes for people and shit. And you're lifting weights. There's little mini games in prison and stuff. It's a really cool game. I would actually check this out if you can. The second one was not as good. I played the one Retribution as well. That was on 360 and PS3. That one was pretty cool. But this one is by far the best. I think they actually made it for the Game Boy Advance as well. PSP has one too, I think. Gun. This is a recent pickup. It's Western, made by the people who made Tony Hawk games. I played a little of it back in the day. But it just looked cool and I wanted it. And I'll probably never play it, unfortunately. Maybe I will. One second. Prince of Persia games that came out during this time, the Sands of Time. This game is absolutely incredible. I mean, you're doing wall running, you're doing jumps, you're slowing down time. Or rewinding time, I should say. I think you can you slow it down? Yes, you can. You can free it, slow it, accelerate, and reverse it. So you're doing all these time things. The combat's really good and it's fluid and flows nicely. The wall running, grabbing onto pillars and stuff, all that works super well. At the time, too, this game looked amazing. It still looks pretty good. This game is sick and it reviewed extremely well. And it is really that good. When this came out, 03, yeah. These 3 games were on all the 3 consoles. I'm not counting the Dreamcast because Dreamcast already discontinued by 2003. Second one, Warrior Within. Now the Prince has got more of a angrier look to him. And this one, you get different weapons here as well. Still great combat. You're still doing all that shit. Soul-shattering boss battles. There was an Xbox Live exclusive here. Time Attack and Arena Survival Mode. Interesting. Not as good as the first. This one I have not played barely any of, but they throw chariot races into this one. The 2 thrones. Oh yeah, in the second one, I don't think they touch upon it in the first. In the second one, you have like your dark, Dark Jack in the Jack and Daxter games. He has that like evil side, I guess, whatever the fuck did they want to call it. 1 warrior, 2 souls. Apparently, like I said, there's some chariot racing in here as well. Oh yeah, see, play as the Prince and the Dark Prince. This one's still reviewed well, but is considered the weakest of the 3. Like I said, I have not played it. Here's some garage sale pickups from this year. You'll recognize these games. Panzer Dragoon, Orta. I'm glad to have gotten this one. This is like a $35 game. If I want to pick it up elsewhere, and it's a great copy. It's a cool on-rail shooter. A lot going on in this game. It's tough. It can get really tough as well. It looks really nice still. I played some of it again a couple of weeks ago. And it's really good. You're freed by the Dragoon or whatever frees this woman, this girl you play as here. And this army's trying to get you. Another Xbox exclusive. Like I've talked about and a lot of people have talked about. A lot of people consider the Xbox like the spiritual successor to the Dreamcast because Sega started putting a ton of their exclusive stuff on Panzer Dragoon. They got Shenmue 2, a version of that. That was out on the Dreamcast as well. That's a Jet Set Radio Future. That was Jet Grind Radio was the first one. Jet Set Radio Future. What else was there? Like Gun Valkyrie, I think, was another Sega game that was exclusive to the Xbox. They got a lot of that stuff. The one Crazy Taxi game, Crazy Taxi 3, and there's other ones as well. Midtown Madness 3, I don't know if that was a Sega game, though. Circus Maximus, I've not played this yet. It's another one of the garage sale pickups. This is a chariot racing game. Beyond Good and Evil. A lot of people love this game. I played some of it back in the day. It was a cool third-person game. Obviously, the camera comes into play here. You're taking pictures. Exposing corruption. But people like this one. Brute Force. I had this back in the day. It's cool. Xbox, never made a sequel. Unfortunately, this game had expectations to live up to because they were comparing it to Halo for some reason. Halo's a first-person shooter, this is a third-person shooter. I don't know why they were doing that, but it was really fun, and the AI was actually pretty intelligent for the time. Dr. Mudo is another one of the garage sale pickups from that pickup. I have not played it yet. Looks kind of interesting, though. A few of you said it was kind of cool, so. Metal arms glitch in the system. This is the last one of those. I sold Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. This game's amazing. I'm glad to have this one, too. If there was two I was going to keep from all those I got the garage, that'll be this and Panzer Dragoon Order. Plays glitch here. This is a great, just third-person action game. You get different weapons. You can hijack enemies. There's vehicle action in here as well. Apparently there's multiplayer. I just remember a lot of stuff blowing up, robots blowing up, just a lot of hectic action. I think I originally played it on the Xbox when I first saw it. I'd actually call this an underrated game. Maybe one day I'll do some gameplay of it. Midway Arcade Treasures. This just has a bunch of old Midway games. Spy Hunter, Defender, Joust, Smash TV, 720, Marble Madness, which is infuriating if you ever played it. Paperboy Rampage. Paperboy's a classic, so Smash TV. And Gauntlet's on here. There's a lot of classic old arcade games. Most of them came out on the, probably like the Commodore, the NES, maybe the Master System. Paperboy's been around for a while now, too. Spy Hunter's obviously a classic as well. Tubin. Gladius, I talked about this in the underrated games video. It's an amazing underrated tactical strategy game on a grid that never got a sequel. It's really cool. Your characters in the real world, outside of the arena, the people you recruit and stuff. The main players die. The game over. But when you're out on the game world, traveling on the land, not in an arena, your characters that you've built up tons of stats for can be killed and they're gone. In the arena, they just get knocked out. And you're fighting different enemies and stuff like that. Some twists and turns along the way. Haunted Mansion is another one I talked about. Cool, unique boss fights again in this, and it looks nice, and it's just a cool game. It's based on the ride as well, but you play as Zeke here. And you have your lantern, you're collecting souls and stuff like that. GoldenEye Rogue Agent. This is a recent pickup. $5. You do not play. I thought Bond died in this, but maybe he doesn't. I don't know why I thought he got killed like in the first 5 minutes. But you use an agent, and then you turn bad, and you have a golden eye because you lose your eye. So it's gold. They were literally just trying to bank off the name GoldenEye. And you meet a lot of classic villains from the Bond games. I've played some of this, and it is kind of standard corridor shooter stuff, but it's not terrible. I do want to play more of it. Comes the Star Wars section. Jedi Starfighter. This was a garage sale pick up a couple of years ago. It's not in great shape. It was a bug, though. I did have this back in the day. I did not beat it. It's like a Rogue Squadron and stuff like that. It takes place during episode 2, I believe, yeah. So you're using different ships and stuff like that, and you're doing different missions and shit. It's cool. It's like you can't really go wrong with like a Star Wars vehicle shooter. Rogue Squadron, there's like Battle for Naboo, Jedi Starfighter. There's been plenty of the Rogue Squadrons are usually the best. But you can't go wrong with it. And there's also the ones back in the day, like Rebel Assault and shit like that, and TIE Fighter. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You can actually, I think there's actually like movie cutscenes in it. You play as Anakin and Obi-Wan. I'm pretty sure you can kill Obi-Wan in this one, and he kills the Emperor as well, Anakin. I think there's different endings, is there? I've not beaten it. But you can force powers. It's pretty cool. Like, the lightsaber battles are decent. Jedi Outcast, Star Wars Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight 2. I played a little bit of this. This actually goes into first person as well when you have like when you get a gun, and I think the other stuff's in third person when you do Jedi shit. There is a wealth of Star Wars games back during this era. I don't think this was on the PS2. It was on the GameCube, though. And so was Jedi Academy. Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, this is peak Star Wars right here in terms of game. This game's amazing. The second one is too. It's an RPG in a Star Wars universe. You get a party of characters. You can use, I think, 3 at the same time, maybe 4. I forget. I think it's 3. You end up getting your own ship. You go into your ship. You know, you're leveling up. You can lean Sith or Jedi, and the game will kind of have people act differently towards you. It's not like super in depth, but you're Darth Revan. You are Revan. You are a Jedi. I think you have amnesia, but you find out you were fighting on like the outer rim, and you lost it a little bit. This is Darth Malik in this one. I know it's Bastila. And there's other characters you come across as well. It's just go to different worlds and shit. It's just an awesome, awesome RPG. It really is. Like, you can have a ton of fun with this. Go to Tatooine, Dantooine, Kashyyyk. And there's other worlds as well, I don't know. The Sith home world as well, right? Yeah, it says it here. Korriban. Sith world of Korriban. This takes place like 4,000 years before, like, the original trilogy. Final 2. Serious Sam 2. Serious Sam games are just good, stupid shooters where enemies are endless and they're running at you. There's weird enemy designs and stuff. It's goofy. Some of the humor's a little hit or miss, but you're playing it for the combat. And it's just great. It really is. It's all over the place. Like, it's just waves and waves of enemies. It says on the back, bigger guns, weirder enemies. And I didn't set this up this way, but it makes perfect sense to end it with this. And it is Halo. Combat Evolved. This is still my personal favorite Halo after all these years. My top 5 Halos, I've talked about this. There's this one, Reach, ODST, Halo 3 ODST. I really like Halo Infinite. And like Halo 5 is probably my least favorite. And then Halo 4, I like those games well enough, but they're not. Those two are on the bottom. And then Halo 3, a lot of people would kill me for that. That's probably, I still gotta do that unpopular opinions video, maybe that'll be one of them. I like Halo 3, but the problem was I played it like 3 years after it came out, and I was like, I played it after I played Reach, and Reach, in my opinion, is better. So Reach, Halo 3 ODST, this one, and Infinite are my top 4. I guess 2 would maybe be 5. This one's awesome. It started it all. It's an awesome, awesome first-person shooter. The story's cool. You're fighting the Covenant. Cool weapons. They have cool weapons. The Flood get introduced, and all of a sudden it turns into a horror shooter. It's got a lot going on. You'll see parts with it. Flood is fighting the Covenant. You got cool vehicles that take a little bit to get used to at first because it's just dual sticks, the Warthog, Scorpion tank, the Banshee for the Covenant, the Ghost. I think you get in the Wraiths in this one too, the tanks, or is it? But did they have 2 tanks? The Covenant. You can get in a Covenant tank, but I don't know if it's the Phantom or the Wraith. I don't know. The Covenant had cool weapons as well. You could not dual wield in this one. introduced that in the second one. And it had pretty cool multiplayer that you could do. System link, so if you had 2 Xboxes and 2 TVs, you can connect everything and have 8 players. It's kind of interesting. It's Halo. Introduce Master Chief. It's funny if you, in the beginning of the game, when you're doing the stuff, you just start shooting the Marines. They'll be like, he's going nuts. And they just kill you because they're like, he's haywire. But it's just a classic game. Got Cortana in here, everything, you know. It's Halo. You can't go wrong with Halo. But yeah, that is a gum chewing original Xbox game collection video. I do want to expand upon this one a bit. But yeah, thanks for checking us out. Have a good day.